MyGhost-Writer presents Whispers from the Singularity, Table of Contents, Chapter 1, The Signal, Chapter 2, The Void Beckons, Chapter 3, Entering the Unknown, Chapter 4, The Archive, Chapter 5, Visions of the Past, Chapter 6, Collapse and Revelation, Chapter 7, The Final Choice, Chapter 1, The Signal. The Erebus floated silently in the endless void of space, a solitary speck of human endeavor against the vast, star-studded canvas. Within its metal confines, a small crew of adventurers worked tirelessly, held together by camaraderie and the shared thrill of discovery. The dull hum of machinery was their constant companion, a rhythmic reminder of the isolation that enveloped them millions of light years from Earth. Tim Turner sat hunched over a console in the small, dimly lit operations room, fingers dancing rapidly across the keyboard. As a former software engineer, he had become adept at navigating the complexities of both technology and human nature. His usual activities were largely routine and uninspiring, but today there was something different, something almost alive in the signals the ship was picking up. Pulses of light twisted across the display in erratic patterns, each wave of energy accompanied by a faint, otherworldly hum. Tim frowned, trying to decode the signal, a patchwork of lights and sounds that seemed to reach into the room like ghostly fingers. His curiosity was piqued in a way it hadn't been since they first left Earth. "Hey, Tim, is the ship haunted, or is that just you moving in on a new hobby?" came the playful voice of Astra 9, the Erebus's AI. Its avatar, usually represented by a rotating sphere of light on a nearby monitor, flickered intermittently, suggesting amusement. While the AI was technically just a program, it had developed a knack for sarcasm under Tim's gentle influence. Tim chuckled, keeping his eyes on the screen. "You know me, Astra, always dabbling in spooky signals and spectral spectrums. Figured it might help us pass the time before we run gallantly out of fuel and food." Kimberly Armstrong, their stern but kind-hearted scientist, peered over his shoulder, her brow knitting with both intrigue and concern. "It's not from any star or planet we know. The frequency is... It's odd, almost like it's playing in a code we might be able to translate." Tim glanced at Kimberly, a grin tugging at his lips. "And here I thought we were just going to take an extended nap through the cosmos." Despite the apparent calm facade, an unspoken sense of unease settled over the crew. The Erebus, equipped with just enough resources for them to make the long trip back home, waged its silent battle against the vast universe. Fuel and provisions were dwindling, a ticking clock hidden behind every decision they made. As the mundane routine of monitoring the ship's systems continued, the signal pressed its claim on their attention, a persistent whisper that refused to fade. It was as if the universe itself had leaned in close, beckoning them with secrets of ages past or futures yet to unfold. Tim leaned back in his chair, swiveling to face Astra 9's monitor. "What do you make of it?" he asked, half serious. Astra's sphere of light winked playfully. "Could be a recording of the galaxy's greatest hit singles, or perhaps it's just some alien asking us to keep it down out here." "Whatever it is," Kimberly interjected, "we can't ignore it. We have to decide what's more important, following the signal or conserving what little we have left." Their eyes met, a silent agreement passing between them. The crew was small and their bond strong. But still, this was a decision beyond personal interests. It affected them all, including Captain Elara Voss, whose commanding presence was right now attending to navigation details. They had to weigh curiosity against survival. As more data streamed through, the flickering lights from the console painted the room in shifting patterns. Each pulsing frequency seemed to sync with the crew's own heartbeat, daring them to venture further into the unknown part of the universe. It was an invitation, but whether to knowledge or destruction, the signal stayed tantalizingly vague. "Let's gather everyone," Tim finally suggested, standing up and nodding towards the control room. "This is bigger than just us sitting in front of a screen. We've got to figure out what this is." Kimberly gave a firm nod, and Tim felt a jolt of excitement, quickly tempered by a flicker of dread. As they began to walk towards the common area, immersed in the dim blue glow of the ship's artificial lighting, Astra's voice cut through the silence. "Besides," it teased, "if it's a party, you'll definitely want to RSVP." With the weight of the cosmos resting on their decisions and the echoes of the unknown pulsing through their ship, Tim couldn't help but smile. Whatever lay ahead, whether they were heading toward revelation or peril, he knew they would face it together. After all, that was the essence of adventure. Chapter 2. The Void Beckons. The common area of the Erebus was modest but served as the heart of the ship, where its disparate, ragtag crew could gather against the infinite backdrop of stars. It was here that decisions were debated, victories celebrated, and losses mourned. Captain Elara Voss stood at the center of the room, her posture calm and steady as the remaining crew members filed in. Captain Voss was a woman of balance, her resolve forged in the fires of countless missions across unforgiving expanses of space. Her reputation for blending caution with courageous exploration was well earned, and as she eyed her crew, she could read the various emotions etched on their faces: curiosity, fear, excitement, and skepticism. She understood the gravity of the choice they faced. This signal, Elara began, the weight of her words settling over the room, could be anything: an artifact of forgotten technology, a distress beacon, or even a warning. It's coming from near the void horizon, and my gut tells me it's important. The void horizon was a region infamous for its massive black hole, a maw of obsidian nothingness surrounded by brilliant vortices of twisted light and cosmic dust. No one had ever ventured that close and lived to tell the tale. Yet, it was these very mysteries that drew spacefarers like Elara and her crew to the farthest reaches of the galaxy. Tim leaned back against a bulkhead, arms crossed, the deflective humor settling around him as a guard against the intimidation that gnawed at his thoughts. I don't know about you guys, but I've read enough space thrillers to know that mysterious signals never bode well. Kimberly shot him a glance, her serious demeanor contrasting with his lightheartedness. This could be a discovery like none other, something that could change our understanding of the universe. Astra 9 chimed in, its spherical avatar casting a warm glow across the faces of the crew. Or it could be the universe's way of telling us to mind our own business. Laughter rippled through the room, a small but necessary moment of levity. Despite the banter, every crew member knew the question was more profound than mere curiosity. It was a question of identity, purpose, and risk versus reward. Elara scanned the room, meeting each set of eyes before continuing. This won't be an easy decision. We have to consider our resources. Heading towards the signal will use more fuel than we might have planned, stretching our ability to return. But standing pat could mean ignoring something monumental. A murmur of agreement passed through the crew. Elara had a way of framing the stakes that always brought clarity to a quandary, reminding them of their shared mission as explorers and pioneers. Tim, she said, her voice drawing his attention amidst his musings. What's your take, aside from the potential for eerie narratives? He straightened, his features softening to seriousness. The signal's structure is unlike anything Earth has encountered. It feels intelligent, like it's calling out to be understood. Whatever it is, it's definitely not random. Kimberly nodded, her own voice steady and thoughtful. I've been analyzing the wave patterns, trying to decode them. There's a structure here that suggests design and intent, possibly a language or a system, a key. Elara nodded, her expression contemplative. We need to know if it's something worth risking our journey home. The room fell silent, the only sound the rhythmic pulse of the Erebus navigating its course through the starry expanse. Each crew member weighed their thoughts privately, coming to terms with the decision before them. It was Tim who finally broke the silence, his voice carrying a balance of jest and sincerity. Well, if it's a chance to make history, or at least something other than dust, it seems worth a closer look. Kimberly's lips curled into a subtle smile. Even if it's the universe's longest-running podcast. Elara took a deep breath, appreciating both the humor and resolve in her crew. The signal might lead them into peril, but it was their calling to bridge the known and the unknown, to transform fear into discoveries. All right then, she decided, her voice resonant with both authority and companionship. We go forward toward the signal, but with every precaution in place. Let's chart a course towards the void horizon. Astra 9 spun in enthusiasm on the monitor, providing a playful aside. I'll bet my databanks it's some existentialist alien sending us a cosmic grocery list. The crew shared a laugh, and with renewed spirits, they moved to take their positions, steeling themselves for what lay ahead. As they plotted their journey, the swirling torrent of colorful light and cosmic debris surrounding the void loomed closer, a reminder of the wonders and dangers woven into the fabric of space. With the unfamiliar gaping ahead, stirred by both the whisper of the signal and the reliability of their camaraderie, they crossed the threshold into the unknown, each heartbeat syncing with the ship's pulse. Yet all around, like a silent sentinel, the void beckoned, a somber promise of revelation and enigma, waiting to unravel its secrets to the brave who dared to venture forth. Chapter 3, Entering the Unknown. The Erebus moved cautiously, drawing ever closer to the void horizon, where the black hole's enigmatic power lay in wait. The journey was fraught with disturbances that seemed to mock their resolve. The revolutions of the ship's engines stuttered at irregular intervals, and the haunting whisper of the signal grew louder in their minds. Within the ship, a heavy silence enveloped the crew as they prepared to breach the boundary between known space and uncharted territory. Tim sat in the operational command center, his fingers pirouetting across the console, thoughts adrift among the stars. "Astra," he called out, glancing at the AI's glowing avatar. "Give me a read on the stabilizers. We don't want to start this dance without a safety net." "Yes, because pirouettes through cosmic phenomena are my new entertainment program," Astra 9 quipped, the familiar sarcasm warming the cold expanse of space beyond. "Stabilizers are functioning normally, but the closer we get, the less normal anything feels." Tim couldn't argue with that. The ship's systems responded sluggishly, and the usual hum seemed almost a groan, a reluctant accord with the foreign gravity tugging them forward. In the midst of the tension, Kimberly worked at her terminal, her analytical glare focused on deciphering the increasingly intricate signal. Nascent patterns began taking shape, weaving a cryptic web across her screen. "Tim," she murmured, deep in concentration, "there's something structured about this. It's like a complex equation, a puzzle that fits perfectly when viewed from the right angle." Tim joined her, watching as symbols and graphs morphed under her determined touch. "It's almost like a map," he mused aloud, "but leading us where and why?" Just then, a sudden flicker cascaded through the ship, a momentary lapse in the artificial gravity that gave everyone a brief, weightless glimpse of space travel's chaotic side. Lights blinked erratically, casting elongated shadows along the narrow walls. "Dramatic lighting aside," Astra chided, recalibrating systems with digital precision, "this might be the universe telling us it's not overly fond of company." Unfazed, Kimberly scrutinized the signal's components, piecing together an emerging narrative. "It's like it's leading us somewhere specific," she reiterated, her scientific zeal enkindled with possibility. "A culmination point, perhaps." The entrance to the unknown loomed larger on the main display, the void horizon a patchwork of dazzling colors and impenetrable darkness. As the crew worked in concert to maintain course, a sudden shift rocked the ship, a disorienting reel that sent outlines of reality swirling away from the corners of their vision. Captain Elara's voice cut through the confusion, calm in the tempest. "Brace for turbulence. It's just spatial distortion. Steady as she goes." Tim held onto the console for support, wrenching his focus back to the task at hand. "Kim, can you stabilize this thing long enough to navigate whatever's ahead?" Kimberly continued her work with unwavering tenacity. "Almost there. Just a bit longer." With a shared grit that had become hallmark, the crew settled into the rhythm of their task, the instability serving as an unspoken bond between them. Each adjustment, every recalibration, was a testament to their hard-earned rapport. The eerie tumult eventually passed, revealing a glimpse of an alien construct ahead, an immense crystalline sphere floating at the very edge of the event horizon. Its surface glinted with soft radiance, reflecting spectral hues across the void. Tim couldn't help but admire the construct, an involuntary awe captured in his voice. "Looks like we found the signal's birthplace. If that's a welcome mat, I'm not sure whether to feel welcome or truly out of place." Captain Elara's eyes gleamed with anticipation. "Maintain this course and prepare to dock. We need to understand what this construct holds." As the Erebus aligned with the enigmatic edifice, anticipation mingled with trepidation. Astra 9 summarized the mood with succinct wit. Docking sequence engaged, population, brave explorers, and one overly curious AI. With deft hands and mindful consideration of the ship's limits, Tim and Kimberly guided the Erebus into a stable alignment with the alien structure. Docking commenced smoothly, the ship bonding with the crystal surface like a ghostly symphony of energy vibrations. The moment they locked into place, the lights within the ship dimmed, leaving only the construct's intricate luminosities to illuminate their path. It was as though reality itself had silently adjusted to allow each element within the room to complement the grand design of the sphere. Captain Elara rose, addressing her crew with seasoned enthusiasm. Let's figure out what's in there, but pace ourselves. We've come this far together, and we'll learn what we must the same way. Together, they stepped toward the airlock, their breath shared in mutual anticipation. As the doors swished open, a cascade of ambient light enveloped them, and the whispers of a long-forgotten intelligence beckoned. Facing the entrance to this new realm, the crew took their first steps beyond the boundary of the known. The air, readings suggested, was breathable but laced with unidentifiable elements, a fitting reflection of their immediate reality, a mixture of familiarity and strange otherness. Tim took a deep breath, his expression a blend of excitement and skepticism. Off we go, into the weird and wonderful. Let's try to keep together and unravel whatever this place is trying to tell us. As they ventured further into the heart of the construct, Tim, Astra 9, Kimberly, and Elara prepared to face the mysteries held within this ancient labyrinth. The path was shrouded in both intrigue and danger, a testament to the universe's enduring enigma and its unfathomable invitation to all who dared to listen. Through shared resolve and the gentle warmth of camaraderie, each step they took was a revelation, testing courage and curiosity under the watchful veil of the unknown. Together they would confront the wonders ahead, an adventurer's harmony against the silent overture of space. Chapter 4, The Archive. The crystalline corridors of the alien construct enveloped the Erebus crew, a labyrinth of light and whispered echoes. Soft glows pulsed along the walls like a heartbeat, guiding them through an atmosphere that was simultaneously ancient and vibrant with the energy of ages past. As they ventured deeper, the sense of being explorers on the brink of discovery surged within them, a heady mix of exhilaration and gravity. Tim led the team, his footsteps softened by the curious flooring that resonated with each step, as if recording their presence. Feel like we're walking through a giant cosmic library, he mused aloud, his voice colored by both wonder and the ever-present thread of humor. Astra 9's voice emanated from Tim's wrist device, the AI's presence a reassuring anchor in the unknown. If the universe were to keep a diary, this might be page 1, it observed, the syntactic precision enwrapped in characteristic wit. Kimberly moved alongside Tim, her analytical approach subdued for an uncharacteristic fascination that danced in her eyes. She touched the wall, observing the symbols that throbbed faintly beneath the crystalline surface. "These patterns are incredible," she murmured. "They're a language, or perhaps a series of equations. There's coherence here, if only we can decipher it." As they turned a corner, the corridor opened into a vast chamber. Here the air was different, almost tangibly filled with whispers, not human, but reminiscent of emotions, intelligence, life. At its center lay a monumental crystalline node, a nexus of interconnected points of light. "It's like standing inside a giant neuron," Tim speculated, taken aback by the multitude of pulsating lights threading through the air. "This must be the archive." No sooner had the word left his lips than the chamber responded. Threads of light leapt from the node, weaving around the crew in a display of orchestrated elegance. They paused, enraptured witnesses to this dazzling spectacle, as the light coalesced into images that floated around them, vivid projections drawn from an alien historical tapestry. Astra 9, its avatar now a swirling sphere of energy beside them, supplied commentary with its unfailing insight. "It's telling us a story, a civilization, perhaps." Captain Elara, her seasoned gaze absorbing the phenomenon, stepped forward. Her presence was grounded in leadership, steady amidst flux. "These images, they seem familiar yet strange. They present a kind of living history." As the images solidified into recognizable forms, they found themselves surrounded by scenes from an alien world. Lush landscapes inhabited by creatures whose luminous skin shimmered with every hue of the spectrum. Tim watched, eyes wide and cautious, as the alien beings interacted, societies flourishing, architectural wonders rising against the backdrop of nebulous skies. "This is unbelievable," he breathed, the frivolity in his tone giving way to genuine awe. They had a whole world, a civilization. Astrone's lights blinked as it processed the unfolding narrative. It seems they built this archive to preserve their legacy. It's a repository of everything they were. Kimberly, enthralled by her surroundings, began cataloging the implications. If we could only understand this, it might hold answers, not just to their world, but to countless others. Their triumphs, their failures, it's all here. The images shifted, a cityscape ablaze, chaos unraveling the beauty of what was before them. The peaceful harmony disrupted, giving way to catastrophe, as if the past itself imploded under its own weight. The poignant reality of loss resonated through the chamber, a universal story of rise and fall. Tim exhaled, empathy threading his features. Seems like they're showing us not just the good, but the bad too, the fall of their society. There's something tragically beautiful about it. Captain Elara's eyes narrowed, observing the poignant scenes that unfolded. Perhaps there's a lesson in this. They created this archive not just to remember themselves, but to ensure their story, their warnings, endure. The alluring narratives flickered, an ancient tale winding silently to its close. The lights dimmed, and in their place, the crystal node resumed its gentle hum, a sentinel of time, patiently biding until next it was called upon. Overwhelmed by the gravity of what they had witnessed, Tim, Kimberly, Astra 9, and Captain Elara stood in the soft glow of the chamber. Each weighed their personal response to this colossus of cosmic memory, an interaction that challenged preconceptions of self and others. Their immersion was broken by a gentle nudge from Astra 9, a reminder that we have our own histories too, yet to be written. Sharing mutual glances, the crew rallied around Elara, their resolve crystallizing. "We need to understand why they sent that signal, what they wanted us to know," Kimberly insisted, her usual scientific fervor flaring bright. "There's more here than just relics of the past." Captain Elara nodded, her decision steady among uncertainty. "We'll proceed cautiously, document everything we can. Maybe we'll uncover exactly what these beings wanted us to learn." Joined by an immutable thread of cooperation, compelled by the burden of knowledge and the lure of discovery, the team returned to their synchronicity. Together, they resolved to delve deeper into the archive, following the haunting echoes of the civilization that once touched the stars, knowing the answers they sought might reshape their very destinies. Chapter 5. Chapter 5, Visions of the Past. The crystalline depths of the alien archive pulsed subtly, each wavelength a delicate brushstroke on the canvas of an ancient, yet ever-present past. As the crew delved further into its labyrinthine halls, the construct's influence began to interweave with their very psyche, blurring the distinction between memory and dream. Tim led the procession deeper into the archive, the faint glow beneath their feet casting ghostly shadows that danced with each hesitant step. His characteristic humor now edged with introspection. He found himself contemplating the nature of memory, both personal and collective. "Feels like we're walking through someone else's recollections," he quipped, though his voice was more subdued, as if respecting the sanctity of this ethereal environment. Kimberly walked beside him, her analytical mind as sharp as ever, but tempered by the emotional weight of the visions she had witnessed. "Imagine the threads of time, each strand a story waiting to be told," she mused, as her eyes scanned the shifting symbols along the crystalline walls, their meanings just out of reach. For Tim, the alien visions began to seep into his consciousness, their presence morphing into echoes of his own life, past laughter, lost moments, decisions unmade. He grappled with the sensations, unsure where memory ended and alien dream began. The archive's tendrils tugged at his essence, reshaping inner truths he had long taken for granted. Kimberly, too, found herself swept up in the dreamscapes, witnessing alternate paths her life could have taken. Futures where she pursued different branches of science, where choices had led to different teams, different companions. Amongst the swirling possibilities, she discovered a latent truth hidden within herself, a steadfast dedication to uncovering that which unites across divides of space and time. Amidst these swirling perceptions, Astronine's voice offered a beacon of familiarity. Seems we're not just interfacing with data, but experiencing impressions, echoes of emotion, if you will, the AI observed. It was a statement laced with humility, the admission of an AI encountering the boundaries of understanding. And I find these sensations intriguing. In that moment of vulnerability, the crew realized Astronine's revelations were not limited to lines of code. Rather, they were authentic, handcrafted by experience beyond mere algorithms. The AI, woven into their shared tapestry, had become an intrinsic part of their expedition, expanding its own conception of identity and purpose. Together, the crew navigated the illusions, recognizing them for what they were: reflections of lives lived, choices made, and longings unfulfilled. With each step forward, they sensed the archive urging them not just to look inward, but to reach outward, to reckon with the challenge of preserving the alien legacy while upholding their own. As the luminous corridors gave way to an intimate atrium, the crew paused, surrounded by projections of the alien civilization's decline, the grandeur of its rise overshadowed by the inevitability of its fall. Peace had capitulated to conflict, progress stifled by misunderstanding. Yet, embedded within the unfolding tale was an implicit trust, messages woven through time and space, a bid for connection, understanding, unity. Tim felt his pulse resonate with the melancholic symphony of the atrium, his voice a mere whisper. These beings, they weren't so different from us, were they? So much ambition, so much heart. In the end, it was their very nature, their desire to thrive, that bound and undid them. Kimberly recognized the profound caution within Tim's reflection, a testament to human resilience and the cyclic patterns shared by all intelligent beings. Perhaps the true challenge lies in remembering what unites us, she echoed, across time, across worlds. Their collective introspections culminated in a shared resolve, a decision to engage with the archive's narrative not only as observers, but as participants. Astra 9 discreetly logged their insights, its own connection to the crew evolving, entangled in the fabric of their journey. Captain Elara's presence suffused the room with grounding assurance. "We stand on the precipice of ancient memories," she declared, her vision encompassing the crew, binding their threadbare continuity. "We will document what we can, honoring their tales as well as ours. Let us make their voices echo beyond the void." With newfound clarity, the Erebus crew embarked further into the alien archive, each footfall echoing with a promise to carry forth the lessons contained within these ancient corridors. United in purpose, across the thread of time, they persisted in unwrapping the mysteries that fused past, present, and their collective journey into the eternal whisper of the singularity. For within this grand tapestry lay the essence of exploration, the recognition that each step further might unveil not just the universe's origins or the past of another civilization, but reveal who they had become together and what legacy they would carry forward into the cosmic abyss. Chapter 6, Chapter Slaps and Revelation. The alien construct pulsated with a deep, rhythmic glow, resonating with the whispers of its creators, a civilization long lost to the cosmic tide. Yet beneath the serene luminescence, an ominous energy began to stir. The crystalline corridors felt alive, crackling under the strain of some unseen force threatening to unravel the artifact's delicate equilibrium. Tim stood in the heart of the archive, surrounded by a symphony of lights reflecting an intelligence reaching across the eons. His breath was steady, but his mind churned against the approaching chaos, aware that each flicker of light might be the archive's last. "We need to move quickly," he said, urgency sharpening his voice. "This place isn't going to hold together much longer." Around him, the crew responded to his words, a hive of activity shaped by raw determination. Kimberly's fingers danced across her portable terminal, desperately trying to download the remaining data fragments, snippets of history and wisdom left by the alien civilization on the precipice of erasure. "I've managed to retrieve parts of their star maps and a synthesized record of their cultural evolution," she announced, her voice a blend of triumph and desperation. "If we can stabilize the core, we might save a part of their legacy." As if in response, the crystalline walls shuddered, shedding glittering fragments into the ether, creating a fleeting spectacle before spiraling into the encompassing abyss. Overhead, the vast sky writhed with spectral energy, each surge a reminder of the black hole's insatiable hunger. Captain Elara focused her steely gaze on the horizon, a testament to leadership amidst impending disaster. Tim, we need that core stabilized. Astra 9, can you formulate a plan? Astra 9's spherical avatar appeared, casting a comforting glow. Certainly, Captain, it replied, its voice both pragmatic and supportive. There is an access point to the core at the chamber's center. It appears we can temporarily route some of the ship's resources to maintain its structure. A collective nod passed through the crew. This was their defining moment, their choice to protect history while safeguarding their own existence. Under Astra 9's digital guidance, Tim and Kimberly sprinted toward the core, their steps synchronizing with the archive's desperate rhythm. Behind them, Elara coordinated the remaining crew from the Erebus, ensuring the ship was ready if an emergency departure became necessary. The core's access point loomed before them, a swirling vortex of luminous energy, a beacon of dying brilliance. Cables and conduits hummed with latent potential, giving off a luminescent warmth that belied the core's fragility. Tim deftly connected his diagnostic tools to the core's interface, drenched in spectral radiance. The console's alien script shimmered, translating itself into a pattern he could, almost miraculously, comprehend. Kim, it's like a tree of data. Roots, branches, everything interconnected. If we stabilize this one trunk here, he gestured to a pulsating node at the center of the schematic, we might just stop the collapse. Kimberly's fingers flew over the inputs, her mind mapping data into action. I'm rerouting power from the auxiliary engines, bolstering the core's integrity. It's a patchwork solution, but it should hold long enough. As she worked, a shiver crept through the structure, a warning that their tenuous grip was slipping. The scene around them tilted, a reminder that gravity's capricious grasp was dictated by the void horizon's voracious pull. The timeline was slipping from under their feet, each second a countdown to oblivion. Outside, the black hole devoured the sky with an apocalyptic fury, the chaotic dance of light highlighting the urgency of their task. Together, Tim and Kimberly fought to preserve not only the essence of the alien civilization, but also a part of their collective identity, a testament to the earnest, sometimes fragile quest for knowledge and connection. Then, with a final decisive keystroke, Kimberly signaled the completion of her work. Tim felt the shift in ambient energy, watching the core calm, its swirling vortex slowing to a gentle pulse, like the heartbeat of a dormant giant. We did it, he marveled, turning to Kimberly, a smile breaking through the tension. We actually did it. The transformative serenity was shattered by a jarring realization, Astra 9's voice cutting through with an edge of urgency. Crew, the archive's outer sections are collapsing. We must evacuate now. Captain Elara's commands echoed through the chamber, rallying her team. All personnel, retreat to the Erebus. Let's get clear of the event horizon's pull. Tim, Kimberly, and the crew moved as a unified force, hearts pounding with adrenaline and accomplishment. As they fled, the chaotic light show intensified behind them. The archive shuddered, then began to fragment in earnest. Rushing into the Erebus, they sealed the airlock with mere moments to spare. Elara initiated the launch sequence, the engines flaring to life. With a final, defiant surge, the Erebus pulled away from the alien construct, leaving behind a relic filled with secrets and half-whispers of what might have been. From the ship's viewport, the crew watched in collective silence as the archive succumbed to the event horizon, its brilliance folding inward until only darkness remained, a reminder of the bold mystery that had once beckoned them into the unknown. Amid the quiet celebration of survival, an understanding settled amongst them, binding the crew together with newfound purpose. They would carry the lessons learned, the stories preserved, to reshape humanity's narrative, offering their own chapter to the universe. In that singular moment of revelation, they accepted their place, both small and wondrous, in the vast choreography of galaxies. And with hearts tempered by common purpose and shared experience, they prepared to chart the course back to the known universe, bound by the whispers of the Singularity and the echoes of a distant civilization's enduring legacy. Chapter 7. Chapter 7, the final choice. The Erebus drifted clear of the event horizon, the formidable pull of the black hole finally receding into the silent depths of space. As the crew gathered in the dimly lit control room, the mood was a mixture of relief and solemnity. The alien archive, now a fading memory on the event horizon, had left an indelible mark on their journey, and perhaps even on their souls. Tim Turner, standing at the helm, felt the weight of the moment more acutely than any other before. The lines between curiosity and responsibility blurred within him, a spectrum of human resilience and decision that spanned their voyage. "Well," he began, aiming to inject levity into the fraught air, "that was one hell of a close call." Astra 9, flickering online with its avatar projected on a nearby screen, offered its familiar brand of comfort. "Congratulations, crew. We've successfully returned from what one might call an existential cliffhanger." The brief wind of laughter rippled through the room. Yet beneath the humor lay the necessity to confront the future, a future with profound ramifications stemming from the alien knowledge now on board. Kimberly sat at her console, already compiling the data that had been salvaged, her scientific mind working tirelessly despite the weight of recent events. "We've collected a significant amount of their cultural and technological data. If we can understand even a fraction of it, the implications for humanity are boundless." Captain Elara Voss nodded, acknowledging the monumental endeavor ahead. Her leadership, now tested and tempered by the singular experience, radiated a kind of serene determination. "This leaves us with a critical decision. Do we keep this knowledge safeguarded for humanity, or do we risk more by returning to Earth, exposing others to these immense revelations and potential dangers?" The question hung in the air, thick with gravity. It was a dichotomy mirrored in each crew member's heart: preservation or innovation, safety or audacity. Though their bonds had grown unbreakable, this decision transcended mere consensus. It demanded something deeper, something fundamental to both their shared journey and individual moral compasses. Tim turned to Astra 9, the AI that had become not just a resource but a companion, sharing in the same burdens and triumphs of the human crew. "What's your take on this, Astra?" he asked, sincere curiosity edging his voice. Astra 9's spherical light flickered thoughtfully, a series of colors flaring like constellations. "While data integrity and factual dissemination are cornerstones of my programming, I've learned that some truths oblige consideration beyond mere calculation. The value of this information may only realize its potential if complemented by human insight." Kimberly interjected, her eyes earnest and steady. "Captain, with this knowledge comes responsibility. By proceeding with caution, we can ensure it benefits humanity without repeating mistakes of the past." Elara considered these words, weighing them against the unyielding frontier of the cosmos, a single thread in the universe's infinitely intricate tapestry. Her resolve settled into unyielding purpose, recognizing the rare opportunity and grave responsibility they must carry. "We embed the data deep within the Erebus's secure systems," Elara decided, her gaze sweeping across her crew with unwavering assurance. "We return to Earth, but selectively reveal our findings, ensuring it's guided by wisdom and foresight. Humanity deserves to expand its understanding, but with prudence, avoiding the pitfalls of hubris and hastiness." A ripple of unanimous agreement settled through the crew, their purpose unified in purpose and perspective. The journey ahead would not be simple, nor without challenges, but it was one they would face together. Tim offered a wry grin, his signature blend of humor and sincerity bridging the gravity of the moment. "Looks like we've got a cosmic homework assignment. Here's to hoping Earth passes the test." United by their experience and shared vision, the crew began preparations for a journey homeward bound. The path was punctuated by uncertainties, yet filled with potential, a renewal of exploration that extended beyond the stars and into the very heart of human endeavor. As they geared up to fortify their newfound treasure, the cosmos continued its endless dance, inviting its past echoes and these new custodians into a symphony of discovery, yet unraveled. In the quiet sanctity of the Erebus's control room, past accomplishments and future aspirations melded into a harmonious refrain, resonant with both individual and universal promise. And thus, strengthened by the Singularity's whispers, a rare glimpse into another world, the crew approached this new dawn with a potent blend of humility and determination. Guided by hope, tempered by experience, and united in purpose, they prepared to share the story and secrets of their extraordinary journey, crafting their own whispers that would expand humanity's understanding of its place amidst the stars. Thank you for listening to My Ghostwriter.